Luxottica!
It's the glasses and sunglass manufacturer Luxottica. We'll see how they took control of the sunglass world and then explore some other businesses that work in a similar way.
So the real question is, why should a pair of glasses cost more than a laptop? One of the biggest reasons why is that one of the company controls a large portion of the business. As an example, when you enter an optical shop to buy a new pair of sunglasses, there is a 70% probability that you will be buying a Luxottica product. Suppose a customer enters the shop and decides to buy the classic aviator Ray-Ban sunglass, the most famous model used by Tom Cruise in the movie Top Gun. It is likely that the customer buys the sunglass because he has seen it in a movie or a friend, or simply for the reason that the model fits them well. During their purchase, customers are for the most part presumably unaware that they are in fact buying a Luxottica product. So what is Luxottica? Luxottica is the largest distributor and producer firm of eyewear and sunglasses in the world. It was founded in Algodo, a small Italian town in the Alps, by Leonardo Del Vecchio in 1961. The firm is without any doubt leader in the eyewear market, producing and distributing more than 30 brands, which includes Ray-Ban, Persol, Christian Dior, Chanel, and Oakley. So why is Luxottica a monopoly? Luxottica owns not only a large portfolio of brands, such as Ray-Ban and Oakley, but also retailers such as Sunglass Hut, Oliver's Peoples, the optical department at Target and Sears, as well as key eye insurance groups, including the second largest glasses insurance firm in the U.S. It has been accused for operating a complete monopoly on the optical industry and overcharging for its products. For example, temporarily dropping competitor Oakley from its frame design list. Then when the company's stock crashed, purchasing the company, then increasing the price of its Ray-Ban sunglasses.
There were some issues between the two companies in the beginning of the 2000s, but both of them understood that it was better to go along. We merged with Oakley in 2007.
You bought
so
Oakley.
We're talking...
They tried to compete and they lost, and then you bought them.
What is a perfectly competitive market? A perfectly competitive market is a hypothetical market where competition is at its greatest possible level. The concept of perfect competition applies when there are many producers and consumers, the market, and no single company can influence the pricing. Some of the characteristics of a perfectly competitive market are there are many buyers and sellers in the market, each company makes a similar product, buyers and sellers have access to perfect information about price, and there are no transaction costs. Two examples of a perfectly competitive market are agricultural markets and the stock market.
Come on, ladies, let's go. Monopoly.
In a perfectly competitive market, prices are driven down by competition until marginal cost equals marginal revenue. This benefits consumers because they have more consumer surplus. Even though no one consumer is a price setter, and consumers don't always maximize their choices, the consumer's collective goal to get more and pay less results in lower prices. In a monopolistic market, price inelasticity created by a single producer rather than many results in a market failure. Consumer surplus turns into producer surplus, prices rise above the competitive equilibrium price, and deadweight loss is the result. Because Luxottica's cost of production is so low, they own the majority of sunglass brands and they use price discrimination, they're able to capture almost all of the market along the demand curve. By price discriminating, Luxottica not only takes the little consumer surplus of the impoverished consumers, middle-class consumers, but even upper-class consumers, simply by setting prices that can range from $1,500 to $78 for the same pair of glasses. Luxottica's margins are so large, they sometimes charge up to 22 times what it it costs to manufacture a pair of glasses, and in other cases, they only charge 1.5 times what it takes to produce a pair of glasses. By using price discrimination, Luxottica has captured 70% of the market, even profiting substantially on their cheapest products.
To sum it all up, a price maker is a monopolistic company that can dictate the prices of its goods because there are no other substitutes for it. In trading, a price maker is a stockholder who controls a large number of shares and is able to affect the stock's price. The profit maximization rule states that if a firm chooses to maximize its profit, it must choose that level of output while marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and the marginal cost curve is rising. When it comes to monopolists, they tend to practice price discrimination, meaning they charge a different price to different consumers with the aim of charging the maximum of each consumer's willingness to pay. Luxottica, for example, sells higher priced Ray-Bans to cater to a more fashion-conscious crowd, and Oakley caters to consumers who care more about functionality. In summary, market failure occurs when a market is unable to manage its resources efficiently due to the breakdown of price mechanism caused by externality or market power. Luxottica is a market failure due to negative externalities. As a result, the high price of Luxottica will lead to a deadweight loss, which is the loss in producer and consumer surplus due to an inefficient level of production resulting from their market failures.
Luxottica!